meeting is now in order. Would you please rise for a moment of silence and a salute to flags? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'm going to work with this microphone again here. If for some reason I fade off, just give me the sign, okay? Okay. Roll call, please, Steve. Teacher Appreciation Day. We truly do appreciate all you do for our students and our families and our community, so I wanted to start our meeting off on that really important note. I also want to remind everyone that the Mars Senior Prom is on Friday, and that's supposed to be beautiful, so we wish all of our seniors a very safe, first and foremost, fun and memorable celebration. And we also want to thank all of our chaperones who stay up all night to make sure that they have a very safe, fun, and memorable celebration. So thanks to all of those folks. And sometimes I usually try to put this at the end, but just in case I forget, I do want to wish everyone a very happy Mother's Day for all the moms and the guardians. Okay? I do need to announce for the public record that the board met in closed session prior to this meeting, matters related to personnel and a student issue, and we will need to meet in closed session following the meeting, again, personnel, real estate, and yeah, okay? Tech report, please.
We met last Thursday evening at 6:30, the authority board, so that met, and we heard from our auditor, said everything was in order, sort of like 10-minute meeting that we have to hold annually. And just went over the audit reports of the bonds, everything was paid, up to date. The addition that we went through a couple years ago. Then the regular meeting was held at 7 o'clock. Nothing much exciting. They were still stressing to the school districts that there's still an available room in our machine technology program. That we'd like to get into capacity with students. I guess I'm not loud enough. So they were stressing the need, because already a lot of the juniors have job offers when they leave, when they graduate next year to Oberg or 2-6. There's such a need for machinists. The program still is not to capacity, so the machine technology. So they're stressing to all the school board and all our members that whatever we could do to, move that along to see if we can get some more students, interested in that program. But it has, like I say, you're guaranteed a job when you're coming out of that program. And after that, we just went through our normal business affairs, paying the bills. There's nothing exciting, and our meeting concluded there by 7:25. Thank you.
Thanks for any questions. Okay, so now we're going to start the public comment period, and there's familiar faces but some new faces tonight, so let me just sort of review the policy here. Board policy 903 dedicates the first 30 minutes before and after board business to hear from the public. You must be a district resident to address the board, and we ask that you state your name and address for the public record, and if you're affiliated maximum of 5 minutes per speaker. I will hold you to that. I'll let you finish a sentence or whatever, but there are quite a few people who have signed up, and we have a full house tonight. So just not to be rude, just to be fair, we will hold everyone to 5 minutes. There was a sign-in sheet outside. I have 6 people here who have signed up in advance. If there's any additional time, we'll go for the full 30 minutes. But if you want to speak and you don't make it in the first half hour, we will repeat the process in the second half of the meeting. Note, this is a time dedicated to hear the public. It is not necessarily a time for Q&A or debate. But what we have been doing lately is if there's something that we can't answer, we have been sort of taking notes, and we will address some of those questions at the conclusion of the 30 minutes. But we're very glad you're here. We appreciate your comments and welcome your feedback. Okay, so I am going to go in the order that these folks have signed up. And like I said, if there's any additional time, we will open the floor by a show of hands. Okay, so with that, Megan, Ms. Megan Russell. Hey, Megan. You might need to turn that on, honey. There's like a little sliding switch on the top.
I want to say, first of all, thank you for letting me speak. Dear Mars Area School Board, I'm going to start by saying this. I don't even know where to begin. Going to Mars, I've had my ups and downs, but not once have I felt as embarrassed as I do now to say that I'll be graduating from here. And it hasn't always been like this. I used to be proud of my school. I thought we were making strides. But over the past few weeks, I have suddenly begun to realize the faults of our administration, and my only word for this feeling is just overwhelming disappointment. I'm disappointed and embarrassed because I know Mars is better than this. Mars has to be better than this. And it starts with us coming together. First off, you need to listen to your students when they are telling you about an issue they've been having. You wonder why your students resort to violence. Well, this is why. They don't feel that the school will do something about it. We feel the need to take matters into our own hands because we've routinely seen situations get handled poorly. You may not realize why something is important to us, or you may think we're overreacting. But if you really listen, we aren't. This is Mars. This is our school. We want a good reputation. We want bullying to be recognized and handled properly. And if you don't understand that, well, I pray for the future students of Mars High. In addition, we need to work together in recognizing when bullying has occurred, like racism, sexism, or homophobia. This school talks about diversity. If we want to embrace it, we have to defend it too. So whether it be an N-word or an F-word, we need to take action right away by reprimanding this student or any student that engages in discriminatory behavior. For some kids, school is a safe place. It's where you can make friends and meet new people. This discriminatory and bullying behavior alone is unwelcoming and, in this day and age, just plain sickening. We recognize that violence in response to words is always wrong, and we recognize that violence in the school is the last thing we want. But we have to recognize that when kids bully and constantly make others feel less than human compared to their classmates, they will lash out, whether it be unto themselves or unto others. It is absolutely essential, therefore, that the school punish these behaviors as well as educate students in order to prevent them. Inaction against the use of these types of words sends a message that we condone it, or even that we agree with it, neither of which is acceptable. We need to embrace the idea of America as a melting pot, even if our community doesn't statistically represent that. We need to make all students feel welcome, regardless of their identity. And so I challenge you to look at this situation and diversity issues in general, and to take the appropriate steps. Thank you.
school today, my friend said that my friend Chase, he got punched in the face and he got in trouble for pushing a kid that who punched him did not get in trouble.
You started getting it. You can't really hear me. You started getting it.
At school today, my friend said that my friend Chase he got in trouble. He got punched in the face and he got in trouble for pushing the kid back who punched him, and the kid who punched him did not get in trouble. My middle brother gets bullied on the bus and the kid got a kid that a lot of kids get mad and he doesn't get into trouble, but he tells and it also gets police for non-confidence. My youngest brother, he has diabetes and doesn't go to school because he wasn't being cared of. He's able to go back to school without someone with him all the time. This makes me so sad. Please help all of us kids be safe in school.
You did a really, really good job. But did you write that all out? Can you have a copy of that? Would you mind, so that, just in case we didn't hear it all just right, that we can make a copy, everybody can read it? So would you mind sharing your copy with us, please? You can give it to me. Okay, and I'll make sure everybody up here gets a copy of it, so just in case we didn't hear it all just so, okay? All right, thank you. Carly, next.
Carly Midnight, 419 Linden Avenue, Morris, PA. Tonight, I want to touch on a few issues that have affected my 3 boys, my siblings, and many others. In the school handbook, under Students' Rights and Responsibilities, I want to point out number 11, not use of obscene language in student media or on student property. Violations of this policy may result in disciplinary actions, consistent with the Code of Student Conflict and Board Policy. Adopt a code of conduct to govern students' discipline, and students shall not be subject to disciplinary actions because of race, sex, color, religion, sexual orientation, national origin, or handicap disability. The board prohibits the use of corporal punishment by district staff to discipline students for violation of board policies and district rules and regulations. Any student disciplined by a district employee shall have the right to notice of the infraction. Under student discipline guidelines, and where they list the problems and the 3 levels of disciplinary actions. Verbal abuse, level 1, notify police and suspension. Level 2, same. Level 3, notify police, suspension, board hearing. Fighting, level 1, suspension. Level 2, suspension and notify police. Level 3, suspension, notify police, and board hearing. Under unlawful harassment, definitions, academic, ethnic groups, explicit harassment, implicit sexual harassment. The administration shall be responsible to provide training for students and employees regarding all aspects of unlawful harassment under disciplinary actions. It states, students, the disciplinary action shall be determined on a case-by-case basis and in conformity with the law and any other collective bargaining agreement in place. If warranted, the school district will report cases of harassment to the police, appropriate law enforcement agencies for the filing of possible criminal charges. Bullying and cyberbullying. Authority. The board prohibits all forms of bullying by either an individual, student, or a group of students. 1. This policy applies not only to students who directly engage in an act of bullying, but also to students who, by their indirect behavior, condone another student's act of bullying. 2. This policy also applies to any student whose conduct interferes with the mission of the school district or the welfare of other students, employees, district property. The board prohibits retaliation against a victim, good faith reporter, or a witness of bullying. The board prohibits all forms of bullying. The board directs that complaints of bullying shall be investigated promptly and corrective action shall be taken when allegations are verified. Under guidelines, this policy shall be accessible in every classroom. The policy shall be posted in a prominent location within each school building and on district websites. The consequences for violation are detention, suspension, and expulsion. Thank you.
Thank you, Courtney. This is a new Tiana Rush, is that her name? Okay, should we go ahead?
Bullying stopped here. The school bullying needs to stop. No school wants bullying. I want a program for kids to feel safe. I have a book to read. 1. Blue was a bright color. He enjoyed looking up at the sky, floating on the waves, and on days he felt daring, splashing in the rain puddles. Every once in a while he wished he could be more sunny like yellow or bright like green, more regal like purple, or outgoing like orange, but overall, he likes being blue, except when Big Red, when he was with Red. Red was hothead. He liked to pick on Blue. Red is a great color, he said. Red is hot. Blue is not. Then Blue would feel bad about being blue. Sometimes Yellow comforted Blue. Blue is a very nice color, she'd say, but Yellow never said that in front of Red. She never said, stop picking on Blue. Green, purple, and orange thought Blue was nice too, but they never told Red to stop either. Every time Red said something mean and no one spoke up, he got bigger and bigger and bigger. Soon Red grew so big that everyone was afraid of him. No one dared to stop him. Red picked on all the colors, and then everyone felt a little blue. Until one came. He had a different shape with bold strokes and square corners, but he was funny. He made colors laugh. I will be the number one. That's the end of the book. I will be the number one at Mars School and make sure everyone counts. Thank you.
Suffolk 101 North Drive.
Sorry.
Yes, Suffolk, that's okay. I'm an educator, business owner, and parent. I student taught at Mars, and I moved to Mars because this is where I wanted my family to grow. That was my book. I teach preschool, and if you don't think that a 3-year-old is too young to know what is right and wrong, you're incorrect. 2 years ago, I came to the superintendent and the principal, and I talked to them about that book. I said, I teach 3 and 4-year-olds. It's not a bad concept. You see, my daughter's been bullied for 3 years. She's 12 now. As an educator, a parent, I would be glad to come to you, sit in one of your classrooms. I've done it with a few teachers. I have a bullying plan. It works. I'm still waiting for a phone call. I don't know that you have one better. I'm still waiting. I'm here tonight as a concerned parent as well as a member of this community, concerned about what is and is not being done in the district to help our kids. I have 2 daughters, the oldest is 12. I asked her last night if she wanted to come to a meeting with me because one of the topics was about bullying. She said she really didn't want to come because all those grown-ups do is talk. They don't help me. You see, my daughter has been bullied for years now, from notes on her backpack that say "kick me," so that she can be kicked up the aisle of the bus, to being teased for 2 weeks after the dare dog ran across the room, jumped on her, and pinned her to the ground. I'm still waiting for that phone call. I received a call from a classroom teacher, principal, and guidance counselor one day. They were concerned about my daughter. She made the comment to one of her peers that she should just kill herself because she didn't know what else to do. She was 10. Would I be okay with her speaking to guidance? Absolutely. We come to find that she had been bullied for 6 months from a boy in her class. After several emails, I set up a meeting with the principal and superintendent, Dr. Shipley. I was told that the boy's punishment was a stern talking to. The parents were never notified, and he never had to go to guidance for answers for his behavior. I was told that day that I was 1% in the school district that wanted their parents to make sure that their child was disciplined in school. 1%. The other 99 don't want it to happen in school. That's what I was told. I offered to be part of the bullying task force. I was told that was happening that summer. I'm an educator, I'm a parent, and a community member. I will offer my free support. I'm still waiting for that call. This year, my child has been bullied all year from students in her advanced language class. 2 weeks ago, 2 students were using their phones to video my daughter at an athletic practice and make fun of her. My understanding is that one of the boys was removed from the team, where his parents called. Was the principal made aware of it? Was the video erased? Who was it sent to? Is it still floating around? Are they still making fun of her? Again, I'm waiting for that phone call. As far as you're concerned, it's never happened. No one in my family has signed a student handbook for 3 years now. You know your child does not have to sign it. You know you don't have to sign it. If you don't know what your child is being held accountable for, why would you sign it? My daughter is a straight A student. She comes home every day and asks me if she can be homeschooled or if we can move to a different school. When her measurement of a good day is not being picked on, there's something wrong. When my 12-year-old daughter doesn't know if someone is being nice to her or just picking on her, something is wrong. 2 years ago, I asked Dr. Shipley to make the district a proactive district rather than a reactive district. Make the other schools take notice and follow our lead. It saddens me that we are still stuck in a reactive mode. Bullying is not the only topic in our district with no accountability. Our system is broken. Mars has a large number of violations within our special education department, which equals poor learning and a broken system. Support staff and paraprofessionals are lacking appropriate training to work with our students, which equals a poor learning environment and a broken system.
Ma'am, I'm sorry, your time is concluded. Can you just finish your thought, please?
Sure. I am asking, as administrators and leaders of our school, listen to our children, hear their needs and fix them. Show compassion, understanding, empathy, and love. We want our children to thrive and not just survive. Treat every child as if they were your own and do your best to make them great. That was Summer Hall.
Amber Rush, 112 Justice Drive, 168, 1605. And I just want to let everyone know that my daughter has seen me working on things, researching what other school districts do. And she says, Mom, what are you doing? What are you doing? And I said, Tiana, I said, I'm getting ready for the school board meeting. She said, what are you going to talk about? I said, bullying. She said, I'm talking to. I could tell as a first grader that we need to change. A first grader, not to be. I was talking to you guys about it, remember? But I didn't get any feedback. I spoke and said it needs to change. And she's here in hopes that there's change, as well as mine. The system in place in Mars Area School District to keep kids safe and foster a welcoming and nurturing learning environment are broken. Recent events in our systems of larger systematic issues in the Mars Area School District. As a community, students, parents, and concerned members of the public alike, we acknowledge that we are not necessarily aware of all the facts surrounding a particular incident the past couple weeks, but it is fair for administrators to ask us to be patient as they gather those facts and come to a resolution. However, as a community, it is fair for us to ask the board and administrators to acknowledge many of us who are concerned with the same kind of shortcomings we've seen in the areas of like special education, classroom resources, a lack of transparency, and treatment of support staff. A lack of communication, a lack of foresight, and a lack of adequate resources and staff combined with the inability to take responsibility for your actions on many of these issues has led the community to the point where we're all showing up now. Look at the room. My first meeting, there was about 10 of us. Look at us, we're here. We're here to say enough is enough. The system is broken and it has to be fixed. Sorry. In addition, the points above, I would like to see empathy. New to the district and coming to board meetings, I've constantly left sadder than when I entered the meeting. I come to the meeting eager, wanting answers, and I leave upset. Where's the compassion when people of the community are speaking and asking for help? Where's the help in the school buildings when the K to 4th grade counselor has 1,200 students? Where's the transparency with financial decisions that not only affect our children, but the community? Why are our teachers feeling unsupported? Why do these meetings have to feel like it's us against you? Current students who have been bullied in the district feel unheard, and that is exactly how I feel as an adult at these board meetings. This system is broke. The community members of Mars should not feel unheard and alone. Bullied children deserve to feel heard and given the support they need to grow past the situation that has caused them pain. We should be checking in on them and making sure they are okay. I ask that we have a public forum in June about bullying and diversity in Mars Area School District, run by students and community members, not run by administrators of the board. I'm asking for the district to make a large meeting space available for this event, and we're asking all board members and administrators attend this meeting. Thank you.
Do we have time for
take this home. Maybe that's okay. Good. Yeah, there we go. My name is David Schaffner. I live at 411 Meadowlark Lane in Gibsonia, 15044. This is not my first time talking to the board. In the past couple months, I was at the special ed meetings, I've been at board meetings and talking to you guys. I feel like a very disappointed parent with a wayward child. I feel like we keep having the same conversations about the same general problems, and we're not seeing the action that we want. As a community here, you can't get 200 people to show up to anything. You're getting turnouts that are making us move meeting spaces for all of these things. Back when we had the meeting in the school for the high school for the special ed, one of the things that was said in the heat of the moment was forums like this, when people are complaining, it makes the district look bad and makes it difficult for people to come in. I'm telling you that the district is making itself look bad by having these kind of problems. That's not something that we are doing to this school. We're trying to make the school better. You guys wouldn't have run for these positions if you didn't feel like you could help drive change. We're asking for that change now. We can't take this anymore. We want people to come and feel special for being here. We want this place to be the envy of all the districts around here. Let's make that happen. We have the power. We're getting more people into the community every day. People are choosing to move here. Let's make it so they can't choose anywhere else. This is the place to be. We can make that happen. You guys are in a position to do that. We're all here. Back in the special ed meeting, the comment was made that originally there may not have been the level of advocacy from all levels of accountability. The parents weren't advocating hard enough, the administration wasn't advocating hard enough, and the teachers weren't able to feel like their voices heard. We're changing that now. There's people here who want to advocate. There's teachers who want to support everything that's going on, from the bullying to the special ed to all the other problems that we have. Let's make it happen. I don't think that's too much of an ask. I think we can do better. We have to do better. You've got a first grader here, you've got an 11th or 12th grader there. The whole problem's run the gamut, and everybody knows it. Let's fix it. Thank you.
Sir, there's a process here. If you would like your turn at the microphone, you need to go to the microphone, state your name and address for the record, and then we will be happy to hear what you have to say.
Thank you all for being here.
Thank you.
I conduct the American Wind
Sir, your
Symphony.
name and address for the
Robert
record.
A. Boudreau,
And your address.
550 Plains Church Road in Mars. I've lived here for 50 years.
That's good. All right, you're all set. Go ahead.
Okay? When I graduated from Boston University in '47, I went to Juilliard. There were no students there studying instrumental music to play with the symphony orchestra because they didn't allow people of color to play in our symphony orchestras. Pittsburgh didn't have a person of color until 1965. That's what I'm here to talk about. I'm here to talk about a problem, how to solve our situation with my brothers and sisters of color. You know, we have such a richness. I have to tell you a couple stories. When I came to Duquesne, Henry J. Hines II became one of my patrons, invited me to the Duquesne Club, okay? And no Jews were allowed, never mind people of color. And the women had to go up the back stairs to eat dinner upstairs. They weren't allowed to eat with the men. Think of that, okay? Dizzy Gillespie came to play with us. You know who Dizzy Gillespie is, the famous trumpet player. And Don Burnham, who was chairman of Westinghouse at the time, was on my board as well. And he said, oh, we're having a board meeting for Westinghouse, and United Airlines chairman's coming, etc. We're going to have it in Ligonier. Do you think Dizzy might come and play for us? I said, sure. So he sent his limousine down. Dizzy and I got in the car. We drove there, and they're going to have lunch at that time. And Don said to me, and he was a very liberal guy. He said, would you mind if Dizzy eats in the kitchen? Okay, hear that? And so I ate in the kitchen with Dizzy. This is what we're faced with today. It's not just the discipline that we're talking about. It's this issue of how to solve the problems, and we can solve the problems. For 60 years, I've been solving problems. For instance, I want to go to Leningrad in 1989. Oh, you American boats, I have a big floating yacht center. Don't go to Leningrad then. So I'm playing on the Kanawha River in Charleston, West Virginia. Okay? I've been going down now 4 times to the Russian embassy saying, I want to come to Leningrad. And after a half hour, they say, come upstairs for some schnapps, which means go home, Boudreaux. Okay? No, it's true. So Governor Rockefeller always liked to sit on the boat when we played in Charleston in front of the State House. And we went back to have coffee in the galley, and he said, is there anything I can do for you, Robert? And I told him about this situation. He said, would you mind if I call Arm & Hammer? You know that name? Big oil man out in San Francisco. And I said, not at all. And so 3 days later, I'm flying out to Arm & Hammer. Arm & Hammer was a friend of Gorbachev. Okay? I tell him the story. A week later, I get a call from the Russian embassy. When can you come to Leningrad? Because Arm & Hammer called Gorbachev. And Gorbachev says, I want that boat. So anything can be done. And with all of you here, it can happen. We are all brothers and sisters. I don't give a damn what color our skin is. It doesn't mean anything. I mean, I worked with Ella Fitzgerald and Duke Ellington and all of these people. What? It's love. That is the thing. And we must teach our children to love and to care for each other. That's what it's about nothing else. I just started my 92nd year, and I can tell you one thing. I'm not quitting. And I'm ready. No. I'm ready to stand on any group of people with any of you. You can call me, and I'm going to sit on that committee, and we're going to solve these problems. Mars is too wonderful a place. I live in the middle of 20 acres. Okay? And it's too wonderful a place. I got to tell you one more story because it's about your school. I can quick, very quick. I had 3 children who came to the Mars School in the 70s. Tanya graduated from Swarthmore. Josh Boudreaux graduated from Harvard. Okay? And Jonathan went and finished his master's at Carnegie Mellon. By the way, Josh plays also solo cornet with the River City Brass, so if you're good on that. That all came out of Mars. Everything, you know. And my daughter, Tanya, worked in Kenya for 10 years with Save the British Children program, to save children. Imagine, out of Mars. Be proud. It's not, we can't say we can't, we gotta say we can, and we will.
Thank you. You sound like a fun guy to have all sorts of different beverages with. A lot of those stories. Okay, so I actually meant to say this in the beginning. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, no one at this table up here thinks that bullying is okay. Bullying is not okay, and bullying is not welcome in our school district. We are committed to providing a safe and positive learning environment for all of our kids because we know it is fundamental to academic success and personal well-being. Last week, sort of coincidentally, we mentioned a program called Rachel's Challenge. That program will be brought to the Mars School District next year. Planning is beginning now. But that didn't start because we had a room full of people. That started actually because the board initiated a conversation about bullying, and we engaged our teachers, and our teachers engaged our students, and we got some feedback. And the plans for that program have been in the works all year. It is in the proposed budget we will act on tonight, and it is fully funded. It is a wonderful program, and if you're interested in learning more about it, our June meetings, we have it is a curriculum, so it does need to be formally adopted by the school board. And so there will be a presentation about the program, and I also believe we'll be hearing about some math curriculum changes as well. So if you're interested in one or both of those, we invite you back here for one of our June meetings. Okay, well, we'll make sure it's on the website. If you're interested in hearing about that program, you are certainly welcome to join us. And I will also, Dr. Shipley may mention this as well, clearly after the heartfelt comments from last week, clearly there's a need for some focused diversity training as well, and that is also in the works as we speak. So Dr. Shipley can share some details about that, but we're committed to making our kids feel safe. So you have our commitment on that. Okay, so I'm going to now move to the agenda, and we have an addendum. So it's being passed out now? Okay. Board members, I can't see you real well, so do you need me to stop, or if something you need to say, you're going to have to get my attention, okay, because this is a little bit awkward. All right, approval of minutes. I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the finance meeting and the work session meeting of April 3rd, 2018, and the board meeting of April 10, 2018.
So moved.
Questions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Under personnel, we have an addendum with 3 personnel items. I will entertain a motion to approve those 3 items as presented.
So moved.
Second. Questions, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Under finance, I will entertain a motion to approve items 1 through 13 as presented.
So moved.
Questions? I just want to call out item number 13, which is the audited financial statement. Jill Sweeney, who is our business manager, does an excellent job, and once again, there were no audit findings, and we got very high marks, so thank you very much for your leadership on that. I do need a roll call on those items, please.
Okay. Ms. Brown? Yes. Ms. Dorsch?
Yes.
Ms. Ferguson?
Yes.
Mr. Kennedy?
Yes.
Mr. Marburger?
Yes.
Dr. Pettigrew?
Same.
Ms. Valenza?
Yes.
Ms. Weaver?
Yes.
And Mr. Boggs?
Yes.
8 yeses and 1 abstain.
Thank you, motion passes. Moving on to item number 14, I will entertain a motion to tentatively adopt the Martin Area School District budget for the 2018-2019 school year with a 2.4% real estate tax increase.
So moved. Second.
Questions? Okay, Dr. Shipley?
Obviously, completing an annual budget is a difficult task, and for many years we've been able to maintain our structural programs that have allowed us to live within our means without raising taxes. Because we've been blessed with a growing area, it's allowed us to keep up with our growth without raising those taxes to our local taxpayers. This year's budget has us at crossroads between program growth and the dire need to address our facilities at the middle school. This is why we're asking our local taxpayers to contribute an additional 2.4% in taxes moving forward. Increased taxes will bring an additional $610,000 per year, with which we will be used to continue our efforts to improve programs and learning spaces for our children. In the 2018-19 budget, we're happy to announce the following additions to our school programs. improvements in our guidance program, including extending a part-time to a full-time guidance counselor at our Centennial School, and bringing in an additional full-time guidance counselor who would work K-12. Expansion of our special education programs, including K-4 life skills program. Also implementing multi-tiered system support to help properly identify students with special needs. Introducing Rachel's Challenge, positive school culture, anti-bullying program for students in K-4. Initiating a comprehensive construction project at our middle school is also part of this program as well. We're also looking at hiring a full-time literacy intervention specialist at our elementary grades. Obviously, it's important to bring in additions. Unfortunately, with those additions come difficult decisions to trim in other areas, including finding savings and changes through our contracted services, not replacing 2 retirees, removing 9th grade football and those students who play on our JV team, and removing independent music lessons from the middle school students, which will result in the reduction of the music staff by 1 person. Overall, the 2018-19 budget of the Mars Area School District is able to meet the demands of the growing district. Demands including increasing fixed costs, expanding curriculum, improving special education programs, and improving school climate. This budget is an indication of the Board of School Directors and the Mars Area School District Administration will meet these demands now and into the future. Thank you very much.
Very good. So just as a matter of next steps, this is a tentatively adopted budget. It is not a final budget. We are by law required to adopt a final budget in June. But this budget, as Dr. with all of the numbers and support that goes along with it, will be posted on the district's website for public review and comment. I suspect we will have some folks taking a close look at that, and we want to make sure you get your questions answered, but it would be very difficult to do that in this kind of forum. So what I would suggest is if you have a question, we would ask that you submit it to us, either here tonight in verbally, or if you want to send us an email through the forward contact form. What we'll do is gather those questions, and then we will keep a running Q&A on the school district's website, so then we can respond to the questions, and everybody, whether they're here tonight or not, will have the benefit of that information. So that's how we will handle that. As I said, the budget will be posted on the school district's website for 30 days, and we will take action on the final adoption of that budget or some revision of that budget, with possible changes as things come up at our second meeting in June. I'm not sure of the exact date, but it'll be the second Tuesday in June, right, Joe? Okay. All right, I have a first and a second. A roll call, please.
Ms. Burke? Yes. Ms. Ferguson?
Yes.
Mr. Kennedy?
No.
Mr. Marburger?
Yes.
Dr. Pettigrew?
No.
Ms. Valenta?
Yes.
Ms. Weaver?
Yes.
Mr. Ross?
Yes.
And Ms. Brown?
Yes.
We have 7 yeses and 2 noes.
Okay, thank you. Motion passes. And now moving on to programs. Before we get started on the items there, this is Mr. Tom King. He's our school district solicitor, and he has a little bit of information to share on the 2012 special education audit, and I will give him the floor.
Thank you. Members of the board, you have asked our office as a school solicitor to participate in an overview of the special education efforts to resolve the issues that have been identified in the most recent audit. And in addition to that, to investigate matters pertaining to the 2012 special education audit. I would expect, in response to your request to us, and by the way, attorneys Thomas Bratt, who has been involved in many school districts in Western and Central Pennsylvania in special education matters, as well as attorney Leland Clark, have both been involved and will be involved in ensuring legal compliance with respect to the audit issues raised in the most current audit. You asked me to investigate matters pertaining to the 2012 special education audit, and I present you with this brief memorandum tonight. I would expect that we will make various presentations along the way as we all work together, and we've been working with Dr. Shipley, Dr. McMahon, and Dr. Marbu to address those issues and to make sure that the Mars Area School District is in full legal compliance with its requirements under special education law. So at the board's request, we have participated most recently in meetings addressing these issues and the concerns that have been raised by the folks who have attended the board meetings and the parents who, whether they've attended or not, concerns that have been raised about the program. Tonight's memorandum seeks to provide the Mars Area School District Board of School Directors and the public as well with an executive summary of the 2012 special education audit and the closure of that audit. This audit was conducted by the Bureau of Special Education, a division of the Pennsylvania Department of Education, PDE. The audit report was dated April 20, 2012. The audit is contained in a document, this is several copies of it, but it's about 37 pages long. It contains numerous sub areas and indicates timeliness and resources. It indicates required corrective actions, and it also indicates closed dates. So that when the State Department of Education does the audit, there is a follow-up, and there are corrective actions that are required to be taken sometimes. In almost every special education audit that I have seen in numerous districts across the state, there are always, I can't think of any that didn't have some items, and those items are followed up with the state, and then they're required to be closed. So there have been the suggestions that somehow the 2012 special education audit, which identified a variety of issues, had resulted in issues which had never been resolved. That was the suggestion or the implication that was delivered to us, and we were asked to determine whether or not that was factual or accurate. The audit in question was conducted by Nancy Stanley, a special education advisor at the Bureau of Special Education. After completing her investigation, she issued a report to the district on April the 20th, 2012. Her first visit after the report to the district was June 11, 2012. This 37-page report examined the following topics of special education. Number 1, policies, practices, and procedures. Number 2, the delivery of services. Number 3, performance indicators. Number 4, evaluation and reevaluation process and content. Number 5, IEP process and content. Number 6, NOREP/PWN. Number 7, additional interview responses. Number 8, student interview responses. Number 9, other non-compliance issues. And number 10, other improvement plan issues. Each topic was subdivided into numerous subcategories. These are public documents. You're welcome to examine them at the conclusion of the meeting if you like. Each topic is divided based on the BSEA's investigation into categories which may identify required corrective action. Which one? Oh, the Bureau of Special Education, BSE. Sorry about that. If in education we have a whole lot of alphabet letters that mean a variety of things. So sometimes we get comfortable with them and we don't realize that other people aren't familiar with them. So if a subcategory required corrective action, the report also then indicated when the action was anticipated to be completed and what resources would be used to achieve completion. And lastly, the report listed a close date, which is a marker by the Department of Education indicating that the corrective action was completed. I'm not going to read all of these to you, but we went through each of the identified topics. We went through each of the required actions. We went through the timeliness and resources indicators, and we went through the close dates. We were looking to determine whether or not, as had been suggested by some folks, that the 2012 audit was still alive and kicking and had not been completed timely, and that some of these action items were allegedly still alive. As noted, the 37-page audit report indicated in most areas that the special education department was in compliance. The areas of concern, however, were listed on 3 pages. Approximately 75% of the areas requiring corrective action were in topic 5, IEP process and content. The majority of those concerns dealt with the proper filling out of paperwork, not in the services rendered to the special education students. The issues were further summarized in my report, which is also a matter of public record. I identified, I'm not going to read them item by item, but I identified the issues that were summarized in the bullet points. It should also be noted that in many areas, the audit reviewed 10 files to ascertain compliance and practices, and then listed the percentage that were out of compliance. In most of the areas flagged, the district was 70 to 90% compliant at the time of the audit. The main goal, therefore, was, according to the audit, to make sure that best practices were applied to 100% of the cases going forward. The 2 most substantive concerns raised in the audit were the district's provision of least restrictive environment for special education students and discrepancy in the percentage of students enrolled in special education. And I will tell you that these are not unusual, that if you were to go to the Department of Education website, which you're quite welcome to do, I'd be glad to give you the direction to get there. You will be able to access the special education audits of literally every district in the Commonwealth, and you will find that typically these 2 general categories are found in many of the special education audits across the state. The district, therefore, was given 1 year to complete the required corrective action on these items. That deadline was April the 20th, 2013. According to the final version, which I have here, of the audit report, all of the corrective action items were completed by March 20, 2013, 1 month early. During this time, the district received the assistance of Midwestern Intermediate Unit 4, PATTAN of Pittsburgh, and the Bureau of Special Education staff. On March 27, 2013, the Department of Education, and I appreciate Dr. McMahon assisting me in locating these documents so we could do the review. On March 27, 2013, the Pennsylvania Department of Education wrote to Dr. William Pettigrew, the superintendent of the Mars Area School District. This letter is also public. And the letter provides, Dear Dr. Pettigrew, it is from Mr. John Tomasini, who is the director of the Department of Education, Special Education Bureau. And it says as follows, Dear Dr. Pettigrew, I've been informed that the areas of non-compliance cited as a result of the special education compliance monitoring visit conducted on March 20, 2012 have been corrected as of March 20, 2013 by the school district. It is with pleasure that I commend you and your staff for efforts made in achieving resolution of the non-compliance areas. Please note if you have improvement plans that were developed as a component of the corrective action plan, they will remain open and you're required to implement the improvement plans until the specific action for those items has been completed as approved by your advisor. As you know, compliance monitoring is required by federal regulations to determine a local education agency's compliance with federal and state requirements for students identified as eligible for special education. Your response to the monitoring visit and subsequent corrective action assures the continuation of improved special education services to Pennsylvania students. The Department of Education appreciates your cooperation, and the Bureau of Special Education remains available to you should you desire further assistance in the future. In conclusion, with respect to at least the issue that we were asked to address, each and every of the items contained in the school district corrective action verification, compliance, and improvement plan with the Bureau of Special Education were closed administratively by the Bureau of Special Education on March 20, 2013. There remained no open items contained in that audit. I would expect to make subsequent reports to you as we are continuing to work with Dr. Shiffley, Dr. McMahon, Dr. Marhu, and special education folks, investigating the current situation and It is our intent, as we've been asked by the board and directed by the board, is our intent to make sure that the special education program at the Mars Area School District is not only fully in compliance with the state regulations, but is in fact in compliance with all of those individual programs that are required with respect to those items. Mr. Breath of our office, who has great expertise in this area, will be leading that effort for us. We expect to make subsequent reports as the board has requested us to do. So, if any of the board members have questions, I would be happy to answer them. Thank you all very much.
Mr. King has copies of some of these documents, probably not enough for everybody in the audience, but if you're interested in having a copy, I'm sure he'd be happy to share the ones that he has.
I'd be glad not to carry the one.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Okay, moving on to programs on the agenda. I will entertain a motion to approve items 1 through 3 as presented. Questions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. There is nothing under policies, there's nothing under buildings and grounds this evening, but we do have a couple of items under other on the addendum. So with that, I will entertain a motion to approve items 1 through 3 as presented. So moved. Second. Questions? Comments? I would just say thank you to the PPG Foundation. We appreciate your donation to the Mars Area Middle School. Appreciate that. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Okay, unless I have forgotten something, which sometimes I do, I think our agenda is complete. Dr. Shipley, anything for us this evening?
Yes, I wanted to announce we had 3 students who were recognized at the very special art exhibit at the Midwestern IU in Grove City. 2 of our students had artwork that was sold to art enthusiasts, Ben King and Olivia Faldrick. So exciting that they drew and painted artwork that was thought to be good enough that someone wanted to buy it and display it. So that's exciting. And then Carolyn Cuthbert was awarded with the Young Artist Purchase Prize Award, and that art will now be displayed at the IU for the coming years. So exciting for their participation in that art show and their success there as well. I also wanted to mention that we are working to secure a diversity specialist who is going to be working with public schools, and we're trying to get that person here within the next week or so we can work with staff and students at the high school. And yes, there was a request made in the first part here requesting for the forum. If you are interested in having a room, I'd be glad to talk to you about how to go through the process to secure rooms. It's if you want to run that, it's pretty simple to do, but there's an online way to go about doing that, and I'll be glad to talk to you and tell you how to go about doing that. All right, thank you.
Dr. McMahon? Nothing, okay. Very good. Are there any administrators in the office? I didn't see any, but I can't see everybody. Okay. Jill? I have nothing, thank you. Okay. Thank you for your work on the budget. Hope you got it. Yes. Okay. Mrs. Petrini, I did see her. Yeah, here you are, Kyle.
If I could just take a minute to explain maybe why I get an opportunity to speak on behalf of the association at every meeting. In Mars, we sort of have a unique committee that is part of our association, our teachers association, because this doesn't exist in every school district. We have something that's called the Board Association Committee, and we meet twice a year with the board to discuss issues that are brought forth by the teachers as well as by the board. And some of the very things that you have been discussing, we have discussed with one another. Special education, bullying, staffing, technology issues. So we do have an opportunity as a teachers association to bring our concerns to the board and to have them hear those, as well as to hear things that they are interested in finding out about from the educator's perspective. So there's a lot of sharing that does go on there. And the hope is always that it will bring change. I just think people should know that that is a unique opportunity that we have here. We will be meeting again, usually meet in the